I'm late to this, but now I can confidently say there is a real effort to rewrite culture through video games. And yes, it's coming from the usual suspects: the woke crowd, left-leaning ideologues, and their friendly neighborhood consultants. Let's talk about it. Let's go to the recent ones. Imagine waking up excited to revisit one of the best RPGs of all time, Oblivion, of course, only to be slapped in the face with this. What even is this? You get to character creation and suddenly everything looks downgraded. You can't make a striking, beautiful, and dazzling character. Everything looks like an extra from a peasant village.
That's the best you can do? Stop the fucking cap, okay?
Now, is it game breaking? Of course not. The game still plays well, looks decent overall, and for sure it will sell well since Oblivion has a great reputation of being one of the best RPGs back then. And I won't even argue the game trailer really looks phenomenal. Heck, we could play this game all day and we'll probably enjoy it being the Oblivion lover we all are. But there's a caveat. Them hiding all this in a great game is the trap. It's the Trojan horse. They want you to think this is fine because if they can slip this through without pushback, they'll do more of it in future releases. Slowly and quietly. And here's where it gets deeper. Go on Twitter or maybe Reddit, you see comments defending this that go like, it's just body types, who cares? Doesn't affect gameplay, why are you so mad about this? Get over it. Or something within those lines. But ask yourself, if it's so unimportant, why change it at all? Yes, they change it. In the original Oblivion, you pick male or female. Now, it's body type 1 and body type 2. So again, it's not important, but somehow important enough to rewrite the entire gender selection system? If they really wanted to add body types, why not just include both body types and gender in their character creation instead? Why omit the gender? See? It's because this didn't happen by accident. This is deliberate. And someone from Twitter named Christina Tasty even pointed out that there's a certain quest that changes depending on the gender you chose. So what will happen to that quest now? And if you think about it, whether you like body types or gender, it's actually a valid concern because it changes the dynamic of that quest depending on the dialogue they implement. A lot of people actually like this tweet because it makes sense to ask this question. And of course, there are some people who would downplay this, like this one, calling her out for making a thread just about body types, downplaying it like it should just be accepted. They really just want us to get over it, even though it's obviously deliberate. And if you think I'm just being paranoid, here's a clip from Sweet Baby Inc. consultant basically bragging about pushing studios into line. You can dress it up as consulting or diversity guidance, but listen to how they talk.
And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want. Have a coffee with marketing so that you can absolutely terrify them by telling them, here's what's going to happen if you don't do this.
And of course, people were expecting some type of explanation or backpedaling after these psychotic moments. So what did she do? She quadrupled down.
I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played.
It's not even advice, it's not even consultation, it's low-key coercion. People might defend this and say, she's just being sassy or whatever. Then look at this.
It's Cameron Wild, Sweet Baby's narrative designer, Kim's ally, Kim's employee, and the same person who once said, I'm here to burn it all down. Totally normal, healthy consulting energy, right?
But this time, it's not branding. It's not cheeky. In this leaked clip, Cameron admits to hammering a studio again and again and again until they caved.
Not persuaded, not enlightened, broken.
This isn't narrative guidance. This is brute force submission. And once you hear it, you'll realize this isn't an exception. It's the playbook.
Roll the clip.
And definitely there have been moments. I can think of one in particular. Don't need to get into the specifics of the game, but it was a situation where the identity of the characters was fairly important that we get it right. And in this situation, we actually had to have a more heart to heart, really foundational conversation about these are some of the experiences that you are necessarily going to invoke, or some of the messages that you are going to invoke, some of the implications you are going to invoke, regardless of whether you want to or not. It's not a question of like, are you doing it well? Are you doing it badly? It's just, it's there. And so here are the options for how that could go. And this was a pretty, I would say, like unique situation where they were willing to take days out of their time to talk with us about it. And I think in that situation, it was, as a marginalized person, I felt making myself very vulnerable, and being brutally honest of just like, hey, I think what you're doing is not cool. And then being met with a less than optimal response to that, and then having to say it again, and then again and again. What I would take out of that, what I have taken out of that in hindsight, is know where your personal and professional limit is. Choose your battles. Decide as much as you can which hills you're willing to die on and which, maybe you would rather not. I think that really will serve you well, and get very specific about your priorities. Be willing to let certain things go, maybe, but that comes with experience. It's not something that I knew in the moment. I think in hindsight, I will say I wish I had been a little less vulnerable. And so that is a very valuable piece of information that I now have about myself.
Here's Cameron Wilds, another insider, basically admitting these groups pressure developers into compliance. They use public image, social media, and industry influence to force their worldview into games, and then act like it's just normal progress. How would they even fucking defend this? There are actually more examples in games like Veilguard.
So, I'm non-binary.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.
AC Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, even Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is implementing some of these left-leaning agendas and hiding them in plain sight by making the game look good and feel good. Don't you see the pattern here? They insert small changes, like the body types, and claim they're harmless. Normalize them by putting these elements into AAA games, which are seen as the standard because they've got great graphics, good combat, and overall great gaming experience. And then when somebody pushes back, they are accused of being bigoted, toxic, or outdated. And they will keep repeating this in hopes that it will be cemented as the new normal. And again, accepting this is the Trojan horse. That's how cultural rewriting happens. But here's the good news though. People are starting to fight back. Take Marek from Lords of the Fallen. He's doing public polls on what players actually want. Look at this one. Gender options versus body types. It's not even close. The majority want traditional choices and he's listening. That's called player first design and not ideology first. His games may not have the same budget as Oblivion or Veilguard, but they've got momentum. Why? Because people want to be respected, not preached to. And funnily enough, the same pattern still shows up here. Look at this subreddit where the mods accused Marek of being a fascist and banned him in his own game's subreddit. Man, the irony of that, calling someone a fascist, then immediately silencing them. Classic. Don't fret though, because people are clapping back now. The Reddit mods are getting called out for their hypocrisy. Again, this isn't about hating change or progress. It's about consent, about whether we're being asked or just told. When games stop being about fun and start becoming political projects, players push back, and the industry is starting to feel it. We don't want our culture to be rewritten. You want real diversity? Give us choice then. Give us agency. Don't hand us lectures or any ideologies wrapped in a game box. Again, to all those gamers out there, be vigilant. Don't submit into their pressure. Remember, players first.